This is the story of 5 pioneers chosen to choreograph a dance together. This is what happens when dancers step out of their own stylistic habits and start collaborating. The real world, modern dance canon. That we just decided to do our own thing.
Artistically, eh?
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
what are you working on?
I'm just getting a jump start on the choreography. I really thought that, use of breath and contraction and muscle contract and release, it could really just open up so many possibilities for this piece.
What country inspired this? I mean, I feel like Egypt and India.
More like nature. More like our ability to use our bodies to express emotion from our core and our spine.
Okay. Well, we'll see what we can do with that.
Oh, yeah,
you know how I work. You've danced with me for a while.
Oh, there's everybody else. Always.
Hi. What are you guys working on?
Oh, just getting a head start.
Martha.
Hi.
So good to see you again.
Lovely to see you, Lester.
What are you doing?
How are you? Oh, I really thought that we could all just start by using our spine and contract and release, and
Angles, Martha, angles.
Yes, lots of angles to start this piece off. What do you think? Well, I mean, maybe we should wait for Paul.
Yes.
Let's get
Where's
Paul's.
Oh, there he is.
Oh no, the tin can! I found it in the garbage and I have an idea! It'll be great. Hello everyone.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Mom.
So I was late. Whatever. You know, you gotta come to these things prepared. And in my mind, smoking a cigarette before rehearsal is being prepared. I mean, this is gonna be fun. I'm excited.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't surprised when I heard about Ruth and Ted splitting up. She was always such a heavy drinker, and he was just a little too sensitive. Can't say I'm surprised about that. Now, Paul, always late, always with a cigarette in hand. It's like the man doesn't know how to act like a normal human being.
When I walked in and first saw Martha, I thought, my, she's grown. She just never really picked up on my style to begin with, so I guess it's good that she started on her own style. And who's that over there? Well, Ted doesn't have to know.
When I walked into the rehearsal, I saw Graham rolling around on the bench, thinking, oh, it's gonna be a long rehearsal. It's already been done. Then Ruth, I just don't know what to say.
It was great to walk in today with Alvin, but you know, he still has not had his own identity yet. He just so badly just still wants to be like me. But on a lighter note, Paul Taylor, on the other hand, looking mighty fine today.
I'm Martha Graham. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. My parents were wealthy. I had a nice education, and I was not encouraged to dance, and instead I just went against my parents' wishes and did it anyways. In 1921, I opened the Martha Graham Center for Contemporary Dance. My pupils included Alvin Ailey, Twyla Tharp, Paul Taylor, and Merce Cunningham. I was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom and performed at the White House for Franklin Delano Roosevelt. And my career has lasted 75 years, and I'm still kicking.
My name is Ruth St. Dennis, and I'm from New Jersey. Since I was a little girl, my mother encouraged me to study dance, so I started dancing at 10 years old. I studied the Del Sar technique and studied with ballerina Maria Bonfant. I also studied social dance forms and skirt dancing. I first started my career as a skirt dancer in the dime museums and vaudeville houses. I created many dance translations, and that's what I'm known for because I'm inspired by many different cultures. I helped open the Denishon School with Ted Shawn, and some of our dancers that came from here are Martha Graham, Doris Humphrey, and Charles Weidman.
Hi, I'm Paul Taylor, and I was born on July 29th in good old Pennsylvania. I started my schooling at Syracuse University. I had a scholarship for both painting and swimming, and then I went on to Juilliard, and I studied music there and dance. And then at a performance of the American Dance Festival, Martha Graham, who's here tonight, saw me and she invited me for a role in her company. And in 1954, I started my own dance company, the Paul Taylor Dance Company, and it normally consists of 13 dancers, and it's a mix between, there is some traditional ballet-ness in it, but it's a modern-based company.
My name is Alvin Ailey, and I was born in Texas and moved to Los Angeles, California with my mother. When I was there at school, I took gymnastics, and I was on the football team. And I even took some tap classes because I very much admired Gene Kelly and Fred Astaire. Later on, I took classes from Lester Horton and Martha Graham. Then I went to UCLA, went back to Horton Studio. Then I left again and I went to San Francisco State College. And then I came back on a scholarship to Lester Horton Studio and danced in his company. And later on, I formed my own company, Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater, which I'm very proud of.
My name is Lester Horton. I was born and raised in Indiana. I am one of the founders of American Modern Dance, and I developed a unique style of technique and choreography, established the first permanent theater in America devoted to dance, and organized one of the first integrated modern dance companies. My formative influences were Michio Ito and the dance of the Native American Indians.
Let's begin by discussing what we want this piece to be about, because, you know, it has to be about something, right?
Yeah. I think the piece should be kind of like a story, you know, but not really like a story, but at the same time, like a story. Do you see what I'm saying here?
No. I don't know.
No?
I think it should be about the blood memories.
What's the blood memory?
It's about my past, and I just feel with my people. And so it'll mean something. I think the dance should really have a meaning.
Well, I think that we should really make sure that we emphasize expressing emotion, and not just nice emotions, but, you know, anger, jealousy, rage.
Well, I'm very sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I think that we should express our internal emotions, but also incorporate different themes of different countries to tell stories. Like Ted and I did a dance, Tillers of the Soil, and we talked about how we were digging at the earth, and our dance was all about that. We could incorporate that into our
What country
theme.
was that about?
Well, personally, I I'm fascinated by clear shapes and how a dancer can move through space by using angular moves.
Torso.
Exactly.
I want to include the torso. It should be all about the torso.
Very grounded. Very grounded and
Arms
down.
need to express things as well. Yeah.
Gestures.
Yes.
Very many gestures. Yes. Martha, what? What is? Are you?
Oh, it's just my laptop.
What is that?
A laptop? Oh, it's this thing Paul showed me. It's you know, you can use it instead of a pen or a paper. You type, and it's just there.
Efficient
It's very efficient.
technology
Yes.
these days.
I do enjoy the technology.
What should we do for lighting?
People think I'm too old for this, but I'm not. I'm only 96. 96. I'm still alive and kicking. I could still be on stage right now if I really wanted to.
Martha.
Calm down.
I just need a few cocktails.
Simmer down now.
Well, what about lighting? And scenery. I think we should incorporate lots of different lights and have the scenery reminisce on what we're dancing about.
But what is this dance really about? The movement? But it has to be more than the movement. There needs to be a theme, an idea. So today we were invited here by Dean College to choreograph for their dance company 2011 performance. And it should be a good time. You have Ruth St. Dennis, Martha Graham's in the house. We got Alvin Ailey and Lester Horton and myself, Paul Taylor. So, yeah, should be interesting. We're a pretty interesting group of people, and should be good stuff. Excited to see how it goes. Yeah. I don't really think about dance except for just before rehearsals start. I put it off. I don't live my life thinking about dance, but personally what I'd like to bring to the piece is gestures, and I would really like to incorporate that with the dance movement of my other choreographers, and I want it to be lyrical, and I want something I call dance scribbling. I want it to be more about the action of the piece as opposed to angular lines and whatnot, which Horn and Ailey are going to try to pull for, but we'll see what I can do.
I think that this piece should be done to jazz music because it really speaks to me. I also think that we should base it off of the Horn technique, the angular lines, moving through space, grounded movements, but at the same time, express the meaning of the piece. Once we finally get what the piece is about, I think it should be brought through the movements. And I think that's what we should do.
I wanted to begin not with characters or ideas, but with movements. I wanted significant movement. I did not want it to be beautiful or fluid. I wanted it to be fraught with inner meaning, with excitement and surge. I also wanted to really emphasize contract and release. You know, muscle tension and then relaxing. And the energy should flow from the relaxation to really extend your movement to emphasize the emotion you're trying to tell the audience. And that's all I want to do.
I feel as though the dance should be very expressive, and people should hone in on their inner selves, and we should work on gestural movement. And I feel as though if we incorporate lighting and costuming and scenery, it'll all come together.
We can cut this out so
Yeah.
it doesn't look like there's a pause or whatever.
And I also feel like we should use music visualization and be able to feel the music. It shouldn't be about dancing, it should be the expressive movement of the body, and I think that that's what we should incorporate through my choreography in the dance.
What I want to emphasize in the dance is mostly your whole body and your anatomical approach to dance. That includes your flexibility, your angular motions, but mostly to stay grounded and to move through space. I think that's the most important thing to bring to this dance. You know what I mean?
So for my portion of the dance, I really want to emphasize contract and release in your breath. Contract so that your muscles are nice and tight. Release so that the tension and the energy flows out of 3, contract. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Lift the leg, sternum presentation, and up. And roll to the floor. Contract it down. Contract it up. And down. And up. Heels off the floor. Does anybody have any questions? Yes, Lester.
On this step, Martha, is your leg bent or is it straight?
Oh no,
see
your
because of the
bottom
dress.
leg is straight. Sorry, my dress is
It's
so
straight?
long, but I like it. It's extra dramatic looking.
Okay. And you look
And you're looking off over to the corner, and you're contracted from your pelvis, and your palms are facing up. Any other questions?
Now, what is the difference between Paul Taylor's movement and your movement?
Well, my contraction really originates from the pelvis, so you really want to contract from here as opposed to the upper abdominals. I also like my arms to reach outward as opposed to in towards my body. Anything else?
Now, do you have particular names for some of these steps, like when we're on the floor?
Yes, the pleatings. When you contract up, it should be so contracted and dramatic that you actually look like you're pleating. And good job.
Okay, so for my part of the dance, we're going to do some movement that is from my Notch-inspired piece. So it's got an Indian cultured flair. We're going to start bringing this arm up, here, this arm here, bring them in, step, 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 in and out, in and out. Got that? Cool.
Now, our phrase, since we're both doing the Horton technique, we're going to start with your arms up. You're going to shift your weight to the left, all the way down. Then release, swing to the side to a lateral T. Up, passe over, step parallel. Primitive squat, all the way down. Slide back. Roll down, remember energy through your fingers. Come up to a coccyx sit. And that's it.
Do you guys have any questions?
I have one.
Yes, Martha.
In the lateral T, should your leg be as high as it can go?
No, you want it to all be on the very same level so you don't hurt your spine, and you want to move your pelvis out a little bit. So you're all in one straight line. Beautiful.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
When we are on the floor in the, what is it?
The coccyx sit.
Yeah, where should we be focusing on to balance?
Use your core muscles. Really, really tighten and concentrate. Make sure you have energy through your fingers. Okay.
All right. Sit down. Bend back. Oh. Sit back up. Arm, arm. Does everyone get it? Got it.
So where does this, like, what inspired you for this movement?
Movement is based off of pedestrianness. Nothing really in particular, but something.
I am sincerely trying now to create a dance technique based entirely on corrective exercises, created with the knowledge of human anatomy, a technique that will correct faults and prepare a dancer for any type of dancing that he may wish to follow. A technique having all basic movements which govern the actions of the body, combined with a knowledge of the origins of the movements and a sense of artistic design.
We look at the dance to impart the sensation of living in an affirmation of life, to energize the spectator into keener awareness of the vigor, the mystery, the humor, the variety, and the wonder of life. This is the function of the American dance.